Okay, Wales playing South Africa. This is going to be, I think, the match of the weekend. I really do. I think out of the home nations playing, this one is going to be the match of the weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. South Africa showed that they can throw the ball about and be flowing in the first half against Scotland. They really went for it, and there were some great handling skills. And in the second half, they really ground out a result when they were down to 14 men at one point. They show they can defend stoutly. Wales, I don't know how much they'll take from that Tonga game. I really don't. I really don't know how much they can learn from that Tonga game in the second half. Yellow cards went in their favour. But I think what they can learn from the first half against Tonga is their defence. They will be very angry with their sloppy defence for a couple of phases. They allowed some sloppy tries in, and I think that what will sit with them is they pride themselves on their solid defence. This is going to be a brutal battle. South Africa, they're a powerful pack. They steamrolled, I think, the Scottish pack at points, especially in the second half against Scotland. They really beat up the Scottish players physically. They were more physical. Wales, it's going to be an interesting test. The forward battle is going to be very, very interesting. The one exception here is the weather can't play a role because they play with the roof shut at the Principality Stadium all the time, which sometimes frustrates me because I want to see a pure test match where the weather conditions also test the players as much as the opposition. So weather gets taken out of it, which I think possibly aids the South African scrum and aids the South African set play as much as it aids the Welsh. So the weather advantage or disadvantage is taken away, which sometimes I think is harmful to Wales. I think having that roof open when the weather is crap sometimes can unsettle the opposition, but they rarely open the roof, so that's a Warren Gatland decision. I would say that, yeah, the forward battle is going to be brutal. It's how the Welsh can contain the South African pack, but I will say this, South Africa, ill discipline does cost them. But they were unfortunate to have that yellow card last week for Willie le Roux. I think the Peter Steph-Toy should have been yellow carded. Willie le Roux shouldn't have been yellow carded. So Wales could target ill discipline by the South Africans. The Welsh defence, for the most part, has been pretty solid. I would say the tries they conceded against Tonga were avoidable. They allowed themselves to get on the back foot. They were very lucky not to have a yellow card go against them in that Test match for Dan Biggar. Also, the starting fly half position is going to be interesting. Is it going to be Biggar? Is it going to be Reece Patchell? Is it going to be Anscombe? That's a debating point now about who is the starting fly half for Wales, as they are using their fly half depth very effectively. They are actually using their playing squad depth very effectively, more so than they were in previous years. This time last year, the squad depth was there, but necessarily the test level ability wasn't. These players had to develop. They've now had a full year to develop at the right time in the World Cup cycle. So Wales are using their squad depth very effectively the last 12 months. South Africa, if Faf de Klerk plays at scrum half, that could make it exceptionally interesting. South Africa last week allowed him leave of absence to play domestic rugby for Sale. It's going to be interesting, the club country debate, because it's now in the test window. They don't have to release their players. It's going to be an interesting one. It depends also if Faf de Klerk is playing, because that will. Andre Pollard is a brilliant fly off. If Faf de Klerk is playing, that makes it very interesting. They have a very, very good combination. And Faf de Klerk for a small man is exceptionally powerful. So it'll be interesting to see if he does play and what impact he has. Andre Pollard is, well, he's so young and he's still so bloody good. South Africa, their backs are more creative than I think people give them credit for, but it's going to be one in the forward battle. But the South African backs, like Jesse Creel, he had a very good game against Scotland. They do have some pretty powerful running backs who are also exceptionally skillful with their handling skills. South Africa have gone through a rough patch the last couple of years. They've come out of this transition phase reasonably well. They should not be underestimated. And what they did to Scotland in that second half is they shut Scotland down very effectively. They shut down a very exciting attacking team like that. They just had very solid defence, very good on the breakdown, very good with ball distribution. Wales are going to have to be equally as competitive on the breakdown and ball distribution and make sure the ball is quick, because South Africa are very good at slowing the ball down, legally or otherwise. So it's going to be a very interesting battle. It's going to be a very close game, but I'm going for South Africa as my favourites, just to slightly pip Wales, I think. Just slightly. That's no offence to the Welsh. I just think the South Africans have now got that little bit of confidence about them. they won a hard-fought victory against Scotland, which will give them confidence that even when they're not playing well, they can win. It's something they've been lacking in previous seasons, the last couple of years. I think they'll come out of that knowing that they weren't at full strength with their halves, with Faf de Klerk not being there. With him coming back in, that could make it exceptionally interesting with his distribution. His distribution skills are top draw, but his physicality for a small man. He's one of the smallest guys on the South African squad, but he's exceptionally powerful, as he's proven time and again at club level. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything works out. It's going to be a brutal test match. The one thing that I think could hold South Africa back is their discipline. And Wales can't fall into the trap of trying to play South Africa at their own game, because then they also could be pinged for ill discipline. They have to play their game. It's going to be interesting to see the combinations that Warren Gatland puts out with the backs. He's rotating the squad effectively, so every player's getting a chance in this World Cup cycle. But the South African team have now got renewed confidence with, firstly, how they played against England. I think they were unlucky to lose that Test match, but how they played against Scotland in that second half was a masterclass in defensive physical rugby. So there we go. I'm going for a close South Africa win. It's going to be a brutal encounter. I could be wrong, but it all depends on South Africa. If South Africa are ill-disciplined, it can go the other way. But they showed down to 14 men how they can play and how they can nullify a very exciting attacking side. So Wales, I would say, are very, very similar to Scotland, except that I think they're that little bit further ahead in their squad development, in their attacking formations. And Wales pride themselves on their defence. South Africa pride themselves on their defence. This is going to be a brutal battle, and it's which defence cracks first. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.